Hey guys, this is mUdQuAza here, your Ubers champion, and here is my 5th Ubers match, and it's against TheCoaster07. So he leads off with the Deoxy Speed form, and I lead off with my Shaman Sky form. So I'm predicting the taunt, or maybe, he's going to predict I'm scarfed or something, and I'll just Seed Flare, bring it down to its Sash, he'll set up spikes, and I'll just finish it off with an Air Slash. So then he goes out to his Kyogre, and I'm thinking maybe he's bluffing that he's scarfed, or maybe he's going to predict my switch and just go for the water, and maybe he's just going to go straight for the water spout. But I knew that probably wouldn't have killed me, and I could have killed it off with the Seed Flare, but he is scarfed, so down goes Shaman, unfortunately. So I send in my Dialga to scare that Kyogre off, and he goes out into his Lugia, and I know that Lugia can't do much to Dialga, can't even Toxic, all he can do is like Thunder Wave me, so he's going to Whirlwind me away while I Toxic it, and that Toxic really helped me. In the long run, actually. So I got to my Star Trekkie, and Lugia is like, oh no you don't watch no Star Trek around here. So then Mewtwo is like, rawr, and he taunts the incoming Dialga. So I'm like, fuck yeah. Because, bulk up Dialgas are a pain in the asshole. So, just in case it's a bulk fuck Dialga. So I see the leftovers, and I'm thinking it's a bulk up Dialga. Yep. So I set up a Calm Mind, because I know that the Outrage won't do much to me, but he thunders. I'm like, fuck! So it obviously hits, and I luckily don't get the Paralyze, and I'm able to set up another Calm Mind on a switch to Kyogre. So that Kyogre is probably going to Surf, or Hydro Pump, because I know that Water Spout isn't going to do much, but I know nonetheless I can live 1 or 2 hits, depending on what he decides to do. So he Surfs, and I'm like, yes, I can live this, and I live with 131 and an Aura Sphere, because that's, my most powerful attack against that thing that I have. So it brings him down to around, maybe 20% HP, and I know that maybe I can live another Surf. I'm like, come on, please, may the gods of Star Trek be with me. And I live with 5. I'm like, fuck yeah. So I Aura Sphere that thing to finish it off. So there we go. Down goes that Kyogre. A big pain in my assholes. So he gets a step for his house. I get a step. He must get a step. I get a clock radio. He cannot afford. Great success. So he goes out to his Kingdra. I'm like, Kingdra on a rain with the Kyogre. How very original. So he waterfalls me. I'm thinking, yeah, maybe he would have overpredicted. So I go to Dialga because it walls that Kingdra pretty nicely. So he just goes out to his Lugia while I Dragon Pulse. And I know that Lugia is not going to be able to do much to me besides Whirlwind me away, which I really don't mind because he only has 1 layer of spikes up. And, looking at my team, it doesn't really hurt anything that much. So I'm just going to keep Dragon Pulsing while he's trying to roost. And that bad food is bringing him down, taking its toll. And I'll be able to eventually finish that thing off with the Dragon Pulse. So I Dragon Pulse again. Doesn't do much. But that Toxic is really helping me. So it keeps going down, and it's almost at half that Lugia, so I'm just going to Dragon Pulse again. He decides to Whirlwind me away, which is, if I were him, I would have roosted again, but that's just me. So I get a crit, and, I don't think that really mattered, because he Whirlwind me away to my Lugia anyway. So he's just going to die of Toxic this turn, which brings down one of his walls. Quite annoying, and down it goes. So Mom Lugia is out here, and he goes out to his Dialga. And I'm going to set up a Light Screen because I know that thing is specially based. And he sets up Stealth Rock, which is, kind of hurts me since he already has 1 layer of spikes up. It kind of just adds salt to the wound. So I got to Metroid because I know I can take any hit that thing has. And considering I have Light Screen up, it's not going to do much anyway. So he Thunder Waves me, which I really don't mind. And I'm going to Thunder Wave on the switch. He goes out to Kidder. I'm like, yes! But I get paralyzed. I'm like, fuck! So I'm thinking, maybe he doesn't have Substitute because I saw he had Life Orb, but he does have Substitute. So I try to Thunder Wave again, but he sets Sub and it obviously doesn't affect it. So I'm looking pretty much screwed right now, but I go out to Lugia because I know I can take pretty much any hit that thing has. So he decides to go straight for the Waterfall just to play it safe, and it does a decent amount of damage to Lugia actually. And, I'm looking, maybe that next Waterfall will kill me off, but for some reason he decides to go straight for the Outrage, because, maybe he forgot that the rain was up, and I'm pretty sure that that Waterfall would have killed me, so I'm like, okie dokie, man. So I Whirlwind him away, try to build up some Stealth Rock damage, and he goes up to his Dialga, and I know I'm going to be faster because that thing doesn't run much speed EVs, because it's probably like a mixed defensive one, which, well, it's not probably, it is. So I decide to Roost Stomp to get most of my health back, and I'm like, yes! So right now he's gonna Dragon Pulse, and because I'm a beast, I'm a tank, it's not gonna do much anyway. And I'm able to try to get most of my health back, so I'm just gonna Roost again. He's gonna Thunder on this Roost, and since I'm roosting, oh no, he's gonna Dragon Pulse. My mistake, guys. So Dragon Pulse, he gets a crit, which is like payback for my crit on his guy. So I'm back down to 130 because that Roost basically didn't matter because he got that crit. So I'm gonna Roost again. bring me almost back up to full with leftovers. He goes up to his Palkia. So I don't know which kind of Palkia this is, but I'm guessing it's probably a lustrous orb Palkia with, you know, Aqua Tail, Thunder, Surf, and Spatial Rend. And he surfs me and it does a lot of damage. And I set up a light screen, and here he decides to go for the Aqua Tail. You know, because I have the light screen up, even though probably a Surf would have done more even with the light screen, because that thing is monster-based special attack. Base 130 special. Okay, yeah, no, it does more than base 130. So he Aqua Tails on my switch with Dialga, which walls that thing pretty nicely. And he goes out to his own Dialga, and I'm just going to Dragon Pulse on the switch, and it does a pretty decent amount of damage to that Dialga, considering it's, you know, bulky, even though mine is 2. Lol. So I'm just going to keep Dragon Pulsing, because I know that thing can't do much to me, can't Toxic me, well, it can Thunder Wave me, I really won't mind that anyway. So I'm going to win that. Well, you know, I think I have Speed EVs on this, or he's running in minus speed nature. So he's going to Thunder Wave me, which is going to be another pain in my assholes, like my neighbor, because, you know, he gets an iPod Nano, and everyone knows iPod Nanos are for girls, you know. So he paralyzed, I get paralyzed, which is like, fuck, again? Seriously? Really? And I'm just going to keep trying to Dragon Pulse that thing, and he's going to Dragon Pulse me, and, you know, he gets a crit, and I'm like, okay, you know what? You paralyze, I get fully paralyzed, and then you crit me. What the fuck is this? You know, man, what the fuck? So I go out to Valkyrie, and I'm going to Draco Meter, and it misses! I'm like, what the fuck? What the fuck is that? I get paralyzed, he gets a crit, and I miss? How is that fair in any way? So he Dragon Pulses me, and I think I can live this thing. I know I can live this. So I live with 14, and I Draco Meteor. Luckily it hits, and luckily I don't get paralyzed. If I would have gotten paralyzed, or if that would have missed, I seriously would have fucking ripped my hair out right then on the spot. So I get a crit, which probably didn't matter. Oh, dearie me. So he goes to his Palkia. I'm just going to Shadow Sneak to get the most amount of damage I can on that thing before it takes me out. And he just goes straight for the Surf. Easy kill. Down goes Valkyrie, and he gets a crit just to rub it in my face. You know, it's like pouring salt in my open wound that was ripped open by a giant metal bar. So then I go to Metroid, because I know I can wall that thing. Well, you know, can't hit me super effectively, and I have pretty decent defense and special defense. And I Thunder Wave it. I'm like, yes, because that's probably going to help me later on. And I'm just going to leave this thing in for fodder. I didn't get to do anything besides Thunder Wave with this thing. I didn't even get to set up my spikes, which probably would have helped me in the late game. So he just kills me off with the Surf, and I go to Mama Lugia. And I live with 69, I'm like, fuck yeah, and I roost, because I know that thing can't do much to me. I'm hoping for the Paralyze, which he'll probably get eventually. And he does, so I'm like, yes, I can still win this. Even though that gay hacks he got earlier, I can still win this. So I light screen, so his special attacks won't do much, but he predicts that and goes for an Aqua Tail, which still does minimalistic damage, and the rain continues to fall. And Mama Lugia is like, come on guys, pull through this. And I roost again, hoping it's paralyzed, and he does, or does he not? He gets the Thunder off, and it doesn't do much to me. Because, you know, not super effective. And I have the light screen up. And I don't get paralyzed. If I would have gotten paralyzed, I would have... Okay, yeah. Just to express my anger for that, if I would have gotten paralyzed, I would have taken Skittles. And I would... No, I will not hurt my little baby. Okay. So, I'm just going to Ice Beam twice and finish that thing off. And I'm like, yes. And I know he's the King Bluff, and it's very low HP. And I know it's not going to be able to kill me off at this point. So... I'm just gonna Ice Beam. It's gonna kill it off. He's gonna Waterfall. Won't do much. I'm like, okay, you know, guy, if you know, man, if you flinch here, I will seriously take Skittles and knock his head against the computer. But he has Life Orb anyway, so that didn't really matter. So, anyways, great game. TheCoaster07, very close. The hacks kind of built up, made it very, very epic. So, you know, great game, guys. Subscribe to my channel. Watch my side of the battle on my channel. You know, different narration, different style narration. Check him out. Sub to this channel. See all you guys later.